Hollywood has always been built on glamour, fame, and perfection, but behind the spotlight, some roles pushed boundaries that changed careers forever. In today's video, we explore powerful performances from some of the most iconic actresses in film history, moments that sparked global discussion, challenged industry limits, and reshaped public perception. From emotional transformations to bold creative choices, these are the stories Hollywood never stops talking about. Actor 1 Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson has built her reputation in Hollywood as one of the most versatile and daring performers of her generation. While she gained global fame through mainstream blockbusters, her role in Under the Skin marked a dramatic shift in her career path. The film presented her in a completely different light, detached, mysterious, and emotionally distant, far removed from the traditional Hollywood characters she was known for. The project itself was highly experimental, relying more on atmosphere, silence, and visual storytelling rather than dialogue-driven scenes. Johansson's decision to take on such an unconventional role surprised many in the industry, as it moved away from commercial cinema into a more artistic and abstract direction. Her performance received mixed reactions from audiences. Some praised it as a bold and artistic transformation, highlighting her willingness to step outside her comfort zone and take creative risks. Others found the film challenging and unconventional, describing it as difficult to interpret compared to mainstream storytelling. Despite the divided opinion, the role significantly expanded Johansson's artistic identity. It demonstrated her ability to adapt to unconventional material and reinforced her status as an actress unafraid of experimentation. Over time, the performance has been recognized as one of her most distinctive and career-defining choices in modern cinema. Actor 2 Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman has long been known for her elegant and intelligent screen presence, but her role in Black Swan completely redefined her image in Hollywood. In this psychological thriller, she portrayed a deeply ambitious ballerina whose pursuit of perfection slowly begins to destroy her mind. The performance demanded extreme emotional depth, pushing her far beyond the innocent roles she was previously known for. As the film progressed, Portman's character descends into obsession, paranoia, and mental collapse. Certain intense and emotionally vulnerable scenes sparked widespread debate among audiences and critics, with many questioning whether the film went too far in its portrayal of psychological breakdown. However, others argued that these moments were essential in capturing the raw reality of artistic pressure and mental instability. Behind the scenes, Portman has spoken about how physically and emotionally challenging the role was, requiring full commitment to the character's psychological state. She described it as one of the most demanding experiences of her career, but also one of the most rewarding. Her transformation was so convincing that it blurred the line between performance and reality for many viewers. Despite the controversy, Black Swan became a critical success and earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress. Today, her performance is remembered as one of the most powerful portrayals of psychological breakdown in modern cinema, proving her ability to take on fearless and deeply complex roles. Actor 3 Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie emerged in Hollywood as an actress known for her intensity, emotional depth, and fearless role choices. Early in her career, she took on challenging and unconventional projects that quickly set her apart from many of her contemporaries. One of her most discussed performances came in the film Gia, where she portrayed a real-life supermodel whose life was marked by fame, addiction, and emotional struggle. The role required Jolie to fully immerse herself in a deeply complex and vulnerable character, moving far away from glamour and into raw realism. Her performance received strong critical attention, with many praising her commitment to portraying emotional pain in an honest and unfiltered way. The film's bold storytelling approach also sparked discussion in the industry, as it pushed boundaries in terms of how real-life stories were presented on screen. Despite the controversy surrounding its explicit and emotionally heavy content, Gia became a defining moment in Jolie's early career. It established her as an actress willing to take risks for authenticity, shaping her reputation as one of Hollywood's most daring and versatile performers. Actor 4 Charlize Theron. Charlize Theron is widely regarded as one of the most fearless and transformative actresses in modern Hollywood. Known initially for her glamorous screen presence, she completely changed the trajectory of her career with a series of bold and emotionally demanding roles that showcased her depth as a performer. One of the most defining moments in her career came with the film Monster, where she took on the role of a real-life serial killer. To fully embody the character, Theron underwent a dramatic physical transformation, altering her appearance, posture, and emotional expression in a way that made her almost unrecognizable from her usual public image. This level of commitment surprised both audiences and critics, as it demonstrated a willingness to completely abandon vanity in favor of raw storytelling. The performance itself was intense, uncomfortable, and deeply emotional. Rather than portraying the character in a stylized or glamorous way, Theron focused on realism, showing the psychological complexity behind the role. This approach made the film difficult to watch for some viewers, but it also earned widespread critical acclaim for its honesty and depth. Despite the controversy surrounding the subject matter, her performance was celebrated across the industry and ultimately earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress. It marked a turning point in her career, shifting her identity from a traditional leading actress to a serious dramatic performer capable of extreme transformation. Today, Charlize Theron's role in Monster is considered one of the most powerful examples of acting dedication in modern cinema, proving that she is willing to take risks that redefine both her career and the boundaries of performance in Hollywood. Actor 5 Halle Berry. Halle Berry is one of the most influential actresses in Hollywood history, known for breaking barriers and redefining expectations for black actresses in mainstream cinema. Her career reached a historic peak when she became the first African-American woman to win the Academy Award for Best Actress, a moment that changed industry history forever. One of her most widely discussed performances came in Monsters Ball, where she portrayed a deeply emotional and struggling character living in extreme grief and hardship. The role demanded a raw and vulnerable performance, pushing her into emotionally intense territory that was far removed from typical Hollywood glamour. The film sparked significant debate due to its bold and sensitive content. Some critics questioned the necessity of certain scenes, while others argued that they were essential in portraying the harsh reality of the character's life. Regardless of the controversy, Berry's performance was widely recognized for its emotional honesty and fearless execution. What made her performance particularly impactful was her willingness to completely immerse herself in a character dealing with trauma, loss, and emotional breakdown. She delivered a portrayal that felt unfiltered and deeply human, which resonated strongly with audiences and critics alike. Her Academy Award win cemented her place in cinematic history, but it also placed her at the center of ongoing discussions about representation, artistic boundaries, and the cost of emotionally demanding roles. Today, Halle Berry's performance in Monsters Ball remains a defining moment in her career and a landmark in Hollywood storytelling. Actor 6 Kate Winslet. Kate Winslet is one of the most respected actresses in British and Hollywood cinema, known for her emotional depth and naturalistic performances. She rose to global fame with Titanic, a film that became one of the biggest cinematic milestones of all time and turned her into an international star almost overnight. In Titanic, Winslet portrayed Rose, a young woman trapped between social expectations and personal freedom. One of the most iconic moments in the film involved a vulnerable artistic scene that became widely recognized across the world. While celebrated for its emotional symbolism, it also sparked public discussion about boundaries, artistic expression, and the pressure placed on young actors in major productions. At the time, Winslet was still early in her career, and the global attention surrounding the film brought intense media scrutiny. She has spoken in interviews about how overwhelming that sudden level of fame was, especially as audiences focused heavily on specific scenes rather than the overall emotional story of the film. Despite the controversy and pressure, Titanic became a cultural phenomenon and solidified her status as one of the most talented actresses of her generation. The film's success established her as a performer capable of balancing vulnerability, strength, and emotional authenticity on screen. Today, Kate Winslet's performance in Titanic remains one of the most iconic in film history, representing both the height of cinematic romance and the challenges that come with global fame at a young age. Actor 7 Sharon Stone. Sharon Stone became one of Hollywood's most recognizable figures in the 1990s, known for her striking screen presence and bold, confident performances. Her rise to global fame was strongly shaped by her role in the psychological thriller Basic Instinct, a film that became one of the most talked about releases of its time. In the movie, Stone portrayed a complex and mysterious character whose intelligence and unpredictability drove much of the story's tension. One particular interrogation scene became globally iconic, drawing massive media attention and becoming one of the most analyzed moments in modern film history. The scene sparked widespread debate about cinematic boundaries, direction choices, and how far filmmakers should go in creating shocking or provocative moments. While some viewed it as a powerful example of psychological storytelling, others criticized it for its controversial nature and the level of exposure involved. Stone later addressed the experience in interviews, explaining that she was not fully aware of how the final cut would appear until after filming. This revelation added even more discussion around consent, creative control, and actor protection within the film industry. Despite the controversy, Basic Instinct became a defining film of the decade and cemented Sharon Stone's status as a global pop culture icon. Her performance remains one of the most debated yet influential in Hollywood history, symbolizing both the power and the risks of provocative storytelling in cinema. Actor 8 Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe remains one of the most iconic figures in Hollywood history, symbolizing both the glamour and the complexities of early American cinema. Her image defined an entire era, but behind the fame was a career shaped by constant media attention, studio pressure, and a desire for greater creative control. One of the most discussed moments of her later career came during an unfinished film project in the early 1960s, where she filmed scenes that were considered highly unconventional for that time. These moments attracted intense public curiosity and media attention, as Hollywood was still heavily conservative in its approach to on-screen performance. What made Monroe's situation unique was not just the controversy around her work, but her personal stance toward it. She often expressed frustration with being treated more as a public image than a serious actress, and she sought roles that allowed her to express more control over her identity and craft. The discussions surrounding her final projects later contributed to broader conversations in the industry about artistic freedom, performer autonomy, and how female actors were represented in Hollywood during that era. Even after her passing, interest in her work continued to grow, and previously unseen footage reinforced her lasting cultural impact. Today, Marilyn Monroe is remembered not only as a global icon of beauty and fame, but also as a figure who challenged the limitations placed on actresses of her time. Her legacy continues to influence modern cinema, making her a fitting and powerful closing figure in Hollywood history.